The neon sign of Joe's auto shop flickered against the Ohio night, casting a dim glow over the gravel lot. It was past midnight in Willow Creek, a town so small it barely registered on a map. Joe Harper, a wiry mechanic with grease-stained hands and a 5 o'clock shadow, was about to lock up when headlights sliced through the darkness. A sleek silver Porsche limped into the lot, its engine coughing like it had a bad cold. Joe sighed, wiping his hands on a rag. "Last thing I need is a late-night job," he muttered. But he waved the car in. The driver's door opened, and out stepped a woman who looked like she'd walked off a magazine cover. Tall, with legs that went on forever, and auburn hair cascading over a leather jacket, she was wildly out of place in this nowhere town. Joe recognized her instantly. Lila Monroe, supermodel, face of every billboard from New York to L.A. "Car's acting up," Lila said, her voice smooth but tired. "Can you fix it?" Joe nodded, popping the hood. "Let's take a look. What's a fancy ride like this doing in Willow Creek?" "Photo shoot in Cleveland," she said, leaning against the garage wall. "Thought I'd take the scenic route back to New York." "Bad call," he chuckled, peering at the engine. "Alternator's shot. I can fix it, but it'll take a few hours. Parts don't grow on trees around here." Lila sighed, glancing at her phone. "Wait, stuck in the middle of nowhere." Joe's garage was a time capsule. Old tools, a radio playing Johnny Cash, and a coffee pot that hadn't been cleaned since the Bush administration. Lila perched on a stool, looking like a diamond in a coal mine. As Joe worked, they got to talking. She asked about the town, and he spun tales of Willow Creek's quirks, the annual tractor pull, the diner's legendary pie. She laughed, a sound that felt like sunlight breaking through clouds. "You don't seem like the small-town type," Joe said, tightening a bolt. "What's it like being you?" Lila's smile faded. "It's a circus. Everyone wants a piece of you. Paparazzi, fans, designers. You're never alone, but you're always lonely." He paused, picking at a manicured nail. "Tonight's the first time in years I've felt normal." Joe glanced up, surprised by her candor. "Well, normal's overrated, but I'll take it over famous any day." They talked for hours, the conversation flowing like the whiskey Joe poured from a flask he kept in a drawer. Lila shared stories of Paris runways and parties with A-listers, but her eyes lit up most when she talked about her childhood dog, a mutt named Rusty. Joe told her about fixing his dad's old Chevy, the one he still drove, and how he'd stayed in Willow Creek to keep the shop alive after his dad passed. As the night deepened, something sparked between them, a quiet understanding, like two puzzle pieces clicking into place. Lila's guarded demeanor softened, and Joe, usually gruff, found himself opening up. When the alternator was fixed, Lila hesitated by the car, her keys dangling in her hand. "Guess I should go," she said, but her feet didn't move. "Guess so," Joe replied, wiping his hands, his eyes locked on hers. A flash broke the moment. Then another. Headlights swept into the lot, and a man with a camera leapt out of a black SUV, snapping photos like a vulture circling prey. "Lila, who's the guy?" he shouted. Lila's face hardened. "Paparazzi," she hissed. "They must have tracked my car." Joe stepped in front of her, squaring his shoulders. "Get off my property, pal, or I'll make you." The photographer smirked, still snapping. "This'll be front-page gold. Supermodel and the grease monkey." Lila grabbed Joe's arm. "Let's go inside." They ducked into the garage, slamming the door. Her hands shook as she peeked through the blinds. "I'm sorry. This is my life. Nowhere's safe." Joe's jaw tightened. "You don't deserve this. Nobody does." She looked at him, eyes glistening. "I don't want to drag you into this mess, Joe. You're real. I don't meet many people like you." He shrugged, a half smile tugging at his lips. "I'm just a guy with a wrench. But if you ever need a place to hide, Willow Creek's about as off the grid as it gets." Lila laughed, a bittersweet sound. "I might take you up on that." She left before dawn, the Porsche purring smoothly now. Joe watched her taillights vanish, the paparazzo's SUV trailing close behind. The garage felt emptier than it ever had. On the workbench, he found a note scrawled on a napkin. "Thanks for the normal, Joe. Lila." The next week, Joe's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Cleveland shoot next month. Might take the scenic route again. He grinned, tucking the phone away. Outside, Willow Creek slept under a blanket of stars, oblivious to the spark that had flickered in its quiet heart. If my friends liked the story, then please like and subscribe.